Imagine burning through an entire month of top-tier engineering time and thousands of dollars just to shrink a mechanical gap by, like, 0.1%.
Oh, yeah. And then discovering your client absolutely does not care.
Right. It is just a devastating trap. So today, we are looking at how high-performing teams avoid that exact scenario. We are taking a deep dive into a strategic corporate presentation called TD0073 Technical Discussions.
And we are pulling out 5 pivotal phrases that, well, you have undoubtedly heard before.
You know these idioms, but we aren't just looking at them as a vocabulary list today, right?
No, not at all. We are really analyzing why corporate cultures rely on these specific rhetorical anchors to, survive high-stakes negotiations. They actually function as cognitive tools.
Right. They force a shift in a team's behavior. Take a phrase like loom on the horizon. Saying that out loud in a meeting does something to the room.
It really does. It takes a conceptual threat, like the source's example of upcoming environmental regulations, and gives it a physical presence.
It makes it real.
Exactly. It creates this shared psychological timeline. The R&D team realizes this isn't just a sudden surprise. It's, a visible approaching force.
So the wording itself demands early preparation rather than like last-minute panic. You spot the shadow before the storm hits?
Spot the shadow, yeah. But spotting the storm doesn't do much if half your team wants to build a shelter and the other half wants to run.
That is so true. The culture of the team has to immediately shift from open debate to strict execution, which means everyone has to toe the line. Is that the protocol when a threat looms?
Yeah, the presentation actually uses that phrase to mark a definitive boundary in the product lifecycle. During the workshop phase, debate is highly encouraged.
When all those ideas flowing.
Right, but once that development roadmap is formally approved, the arguing just stops. Strict discipline takes over.
It makes me think of a ship's crew. Like, you can debate the route in calm waters all you want, but once that storm is visible, everyone must row in perfect sync without question.
That is a perfect analogy. And once those gears are locked in, the immediate danger becomes, grinding them into dust through over-optimization.
The threat of diminishing returns.
Exactly. There is a hard threshold where pouring in more resources just yields less value.
Yeah.
That scenario you mentioned at the start, wasting a whole month to tweak a 0.1% tolerance gap.
Yeah.
That is the source's primary cautionary tale. The cost of that lost month vastly outweighs any microscopic mechanical benefit.
Oh, wait, isn't there a bit of a paradox here?
Yeah.
I mean, the sheer desperation to land a massive game-changing win to hit the jackpot, as the source describes TF1 securing that huge contract with a leading humanoid robot manufacturer.
Oh, yeah, the jackpot.
Doesn't that desperation blind companies? Like, they push right past the point of diminishing returns because they convince themselves that one last tiny tweak is the golden ticket that will win them the contract.
Oh, absolutely. That is the classic innovator's trap. A team gets so fixated on the engineering puzzle and so desperate to hit the jackpot that they just completely lose perspective on the business reality.
They fall in love with the math.
Yes, math instead of the client's actual needs.
So how do you snap a hyper-focused engineering team out of that trance?
You deploy the ultimate reality check. You just say, at the end of the day.
The ultimate closer.
It really is. It is designed to abruptly cut through all the corporate noise and, those fractional engineering debates to reveal the indisputable bottom line.
Which in this case is what?
The source uses a really stark technical example for this. Ultimately, clients only care about the reliability of the planetary reducers.
The planetary reducers, meaning like the actual gear systems driving the robot's joints.
Right, because if those gears fail, the robot falls over. The client is not interested in an internal debate over a 0.1% tolerance gap.
They just care about motion.
Exactly. Does the hardware work when we command it to move? At the end of the day, that is the only metric that keeps the contract alive.
Man, this really changes how you approach these everyday phrases. Mastering them isn't about sounding polished in a boardroom.
No, they are mental checkpoints.
They force you to scan the horizon for threats, align your team's execution, weigh your effort against actual rewards, and brutally focus on the bottom line.
They structure how you actually analyze business problems before you even start solving them.
Which leaves a pretty heavy question for you to ponder as you look at your own projects. If you constantly find yourself having to remind your team what matters at the end of the day, is it a sign your company is already trapped in a cycle of diminishing returns?
That is the real question.
Think about whether your team is actually calibrating the machine for the client, or if they are just endlessly polishing gears in a vacuum.